Don't touch any wires. Fucking wire ninja. All right. Hopefully no technical difficulties. It sucks that it doesn't show up in the mic when we're sitting down. You know what I mean? We just can't figure it out now.
We just gotta hope and pray that it's okay throughout the next hour.
Yeah, I know, right? Ugh.
We just had a great time.
Yeah. Late podcast. Everything's all fucking echoey tin can style. And now we're here.
We made it.
We made it for episode 3 for season 2. And all the things that have torn me apart, nothing has made me more whole, including this fucking microphone. And the shit that keeps us on going. Straight from the head ref's table, I'm your host, Travis Papa Bear Rogers, and you are listening to A Forest Through the Trees, a cave podcast, here with the most uncoachable co-host of all time, Big C, Carla Master.
Oh, good crack.
That was good. That
was
was
really
good crack. That was good. It reminds me of like when the kids try to dap each other up. You make that perfect pocket when you slap. That was like a perfect crack version of that. So, not to spoil the episode, but this actually came from one of my clients. We were looking for a third episode for the season, and I was talking to one of my clients and good buddies now, Jack, and he wanted to know about. He likes to hear about coaching things, but we've never really done a coaching thing from the side of the athlete. We've always talked about coaching from a coach's perspective.
Yeah.
But now we kind of wanted to flip that and talk about, are you personally coachable? Carl, do you think you're coachable?
Yes. As of right now.
Right now.
We had some discourse before we got on here about how I will eventually not be after so long.
That's actually we told Carl, that's my secret goal. If you want a forever training partner, you just coach him yourself until he's unbearable for everyone else, and then he's stuck with just you.
I have nowhere to go.
Yeah, now he's got a coach forever, and I have a training partner forever. Sealed deal. I know for sure I'm not coachable.
I know you're not.
I'm not coachable. I'm not. Now, that's not to say I haven't tried to have coaches.
Yeah. You've had your plethora of coaches.
But in my defense, I've also had my plethora of like attempts and ended up with some shit. Even as an older adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Even later in the sport, early in the sport and later, you've had
some bad experiences that weren't jiving. That just like, is this what this is? And like, I don't know. I just think I think I question too much and I like to read too much.
Which isn't bad.
No, it's not, but it makes you harder to coach.
Yeah, but I think that just tests the coach. I think that if you're a client or athlete that likes to ask questions and do your own research, I think that only improves what you know and tests the accountability of who's coaching you.
I 100% agree. And as an athlete, you should be able to question your coach within reason. And I say within reason by like, you shouldn't question like every little day dumb shit. Like, I mean, you should, if you want to ask your coach a question like, why are we doing this exercise? They should have an answer.
Yeah, but don't question the methodology behind why you're doing it.
Yeah, because sometimes if they'll tell you straight up, it'll probably hurt your feelings.
It's true.
You're new and you don't have a weakness. Everything is weak.
Hey,
everything
just
is
small.
Yeah,
That's
everything is your weakness. Okay. But the bottom line, and I'm sure we'll surface and rotate full circle back to this by the end, is you can truly only get what you give to your coach. I think that's a pretty true statement.
It's a very, very fair point.
Yeah, and I mean, and that I would say that covers both attitude and effort.
Yeah, and that goes with everything. I mean, that's just like
that goes with powerlifting.
That's
why I like powerlifting.
You only get what you give. Yeah,
you only get what you put into it.
Like everything in life. Yeah, it's very true in powerlifting.
But I figured that was a good place since one of the main reasons people get a coach as an athlete is so you can set goals and attempt to approach and crush those with your coach. Right? So let's start with setting goals, Carl. Pros and cons and being upfront versus outrageous. Like, what would you say a reasonable goal is?
I'd like to total 2K at a meet very soon. I think that's
It's pretty unreasonable, Carl. I've seen this not pan out.
Yeah.
Too soon?
Times.
Too soon?
It is too soon.
Too soon. It still stings.
A week after. It's
too soon. Speaking of too soon, as your coach and friend, mostly your coach, we have also both made the responsible decision to what?
Yeah, to stay away from another meet. So we're going to take our time.
To have some building time,
yeah,
right?
We're
to have some building
time
time
in between. No, so a reasonable total, a reasonable goal should be an obtainable total that's not too far out of your realm. I'd say that's a good one to tell a coach if you're an athlete going into it.
And I think it's nice to have long range goals, but also short term goals. And we look at short term goals for a meet, you know, if you're looking at totals, the way I always look at it, and I usually up front tell you this, like my goal for this meet was 2,200.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep. That was
Right?
the baseline.
And in training, I had pushed well above that.
Right.
Well above that. So, like, I told you straight up, even on my worst day, I could take the least amount of attempts, and if I don't get hurt and walk away with it, I'll be pretty happy with it. Now, do I wish I had done more? Probably. Was there some lifts I probably could have taken another attempt on? Most definitely. Especially after watching the last deadlift.
Right.
I totally had a lot more in the tank. But
I could have sworn you were going up for it.
I know. But I had a shittier feeling that day. Like I said in my last podcast, like I had an off day, but I made some responsible decisions to hit that goal and move on so that way we could set goals for the next one. But I think some pros and cons of being up front and like really setting goals with your coach. Like, I mean, if you're a new lifter and your best platform is 500, your best, 500 squat on the platform, your best squat in training is 525, and you send those videos to your coach and that 525 is high as dog shit, like, it's not going to pass. Can you really count that towards being that much closer to your 600 goal? You know what I mean? Because I think it's, when we say setting goals within a achievable and reachable standard, it's really hard to, like, yeah, the strength might be there, but, like, are you really going to let them take it on the platform only for it to not count? You know what I mean? And that's almost backtracking then, I feel like, as a coach. But, I mean, looking at an athlete, you would have an athlete that says, hey, my coach is holding me back. And I think that's a common phrase that gets thrown around a lot by athletes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've
definitely heard that.
I could have done better. I could have done more in my meet, but my coach really lowballed me.
Right. I mean, that's the question you have to ask. If you're talking to somebody who says that, your next question to them should be, did you get a PR? And if you still got a PR, then I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, we all have dream days, right? You have your superstar day. You go 9 for 9, you hit all your lifts, your PR, everything, but those are few and far between.
Right.
And most, I mean, it goes back, if you could even track goals as, according to this standard, people would say if you're going 9 for 9, you weren't trying hard enough, which I totally disagree with. I think the goal should always be to take what the day gives you and make the best total possible on the given day.
Yeah. If you're going in there and you're missing lifts, that's missed opportunity, and you
that's pounds on a total you could have had.
Right. If you took a lesser number, that's a bigger total you would have had.
And as an athlete, I definitely realized this later on in my powerlifting career, and after I'd done like 10 or so meets, like, and I know I've told you this, it's always better, and I hope this phrase resonates with listeners and you take this to your next meet. It's always better to say, man, I think I had more in the tank. I wish I went 5 pounds more, than fuck, man, I just missed 20 pounds on my total. I wish I had gone 5 pounds less.
Yeah, that's something we've thrown around in the gym a lot.
Yeah, and that's always a good habit to build. Like, hey, man, if you can stay fresh and be wanting that extra 5 pounds you think you could have took, but you still got that reasonable goal and added towards your total, you should be happy with that, right? It's not always about pushing every lift to the brink of failure. Right? And who knows? Maybe you could have took that shot and got that lift. Let's say it was a squat, but like, how much is that going to tank you for the rest of the day? One of the biggest things I always abide by as an athlete is, yes, I'm a strong deadlifter, but I usually don't have that, especially going in ply, right? After I've switched suits and shirts 4 times, like, I don't have that energy at the end of the day. So like, yeah, I might have hit 730, 740, even 750 in training in the peak leading up to that, but I know I'm going to be good for maybe like minus 25 pounds off of that at the meet.
Yeah. I said this to you before we went there. It was something from, I feel like I said every episode now, like something I heard off of Dave Tate's podcast, and he said that you should physically be able to total more than what you actually do on the meet day.
Yeah, and we actually talked about that. Right. And that would be you putting together your best total for the day because you didn't miss anything.
Exactly. I think even just straight from experience I had in the past 5 weeks, I put up a total that was close to 2K, and then I went to the meet and I totaled less than that, but it was like still within range, and I had PRs off that, so it makes sense.
It does. And I think coming together and presenting those ideas and those goals to your coach is a super important thing in how you approach that. For example, like if I'm an athlete and I'm offering my coach like, hey, here's my platform best, but here's where I'm at now. There's a multitude, it's like a resume, right? There might be gaps of unemployment in your resume, right? Just like there might be gaps for your highest achieving lifts in your lifting resume, whether it be you took a hiatus, you got married, you had a kid, you got hurt. There's a multitude of reasons of why you shouldn't base your plug-in number or your percentage max off of your absolute best, because you don't know where you are right at the current moment, right? And if you're getting a new coach, they most likely don't know where you're at the current moment either.
Most
you know?
definitely.
Yeah, you can't just expect that. Well, didn't you watch my last meet on Instagram? Well, if I wasn't your coach, probably not. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't know who you were till
yeah.
2 days ago.
Right. And most of the time, like when you do a lifting intake form, when I do for my athletes as a coach, and like I said, I want to keep this podcast more on the athlete side of things, less on the coach thing. But when you do an intake form for a coach, you need to be super upfront and honest with them, right? So if you said, yeah, I can squat 700, but again, it wasn't done at a meet and it was sky fucking high, like that's giving, unreasonable goals and not giving dishonest information to your coach.
It doesn't represent you very well.
Yeah, it doesn't represent your ability very well. Because then later on, your coach is watching your training and, analyzing those first couple of weeks of videos, and they're like, hey, man, this isn't adding up.
Yeah. Like, how are you squatting 7 when you just took, like, 670?
I watched you take 660 to depth and struggle with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where mathematically are we getting those extra 40 pounds?
Hiding somewhere.
Yeah,
Got it
yeah.
tucked in your back pocket.
Yeah,
Gonna pull that out meet day.
Yeah, and one of my big things I hate when I hear from athletes too is they're like, well, I always perform better on meet day. Which may be true, but like as a responsible coach, like you can't gauge
bank on that.
Mathematically, we can't bank on what ifs.
No, yeah.
Well, if you add 10 pounds from ammonia and another 5 from the audience on how hard they cheer and multiply that by 0.2 by how many family members are there, like, dude, that's not how lifts work.
The hype in the warm-up room squared adds to a
Right,
third
yeah.
attempt here.
They might have a chance. There's a 1 in 5 chance they play a song I might know. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how coaches approach your numbers. So, like, being very honest and upfront and reasonable and supplying them with a honest lifting resume is what's going to get you the best results from your coach. Meaning, we're circling back. You give what you give to your coach. If you're giving them unrealistic numbers and unrealistic expectations, your building blocks, how you're assembling things with your coach are probably going to suffer. I mean, that's just upfront and honest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then talking about that, because that kind of fits right in, the videos and reviewing with your coach.
Okay.
Dude, you are totally responsible from that. And as an athlete, try to think about your videos and stuff you're sending to your coach for feedback from the coach's perspective. Hey man, I filmed this 30 feet away from the floor facing up. Like, do you really think your coach is going to be able to give you honest feedback from that? Like, dude, I couldn't see if your butt came off that bench. I couldn't see how angled the bar path was, or if you were tucking your elbows at the right time. I can barely see anything because by the time I fucking zoom in, it's so pixelated from that far back. Like, again, if you're not giving your coach good quality and angled things to look at, it's going to lead to a downfall. And one of your things when you sign up with a coach is ask them, like, hey, being upfront, like, what are you expecting from me as far as videos I'm sending you, and what kind of like angles would you like? And I usually send lifters videos of me and how I would video myself to, look over my own lifts in the gym. I'm like, hey, offer me this front side angle sort of like this. See if you can get something close to this. Or I make sure to tell my athletes, like, If you're doing top sets, I want to see your top 2 sets of that compound, right? I don't need to see every single warm up, right? I don't need to see, if you're doing an 8x3 for a DE day, I don't want to see every single set. I want to see the first and last, so that way we can compare them and how those techniques break down over time.
Would you, as a coach, not want to see a set that has the most technical breakdown, even if it's not the top 2?
Give or take. I mean, sometimes I'll get 3 videos, but like, if it wasn't something out of the ordinary, I don't want the extra video.
Makes sense. Like, if it was just a fluke, like, hey, that was weird. You know, I'm gonna send it to you, but like, that's not like a normalcy.
Like, I've had athletes freak out, which is really weird because you and me just talked about this. Anything can happen on the platform.
Sure.
I've never seen your hip shoot back ever.
Yep.
Until last weekend. Ever. I've never seen you do that in a squat ever.
Yeah.
Now,
I was saving it for that day.
Like, athlete that would freak out, they would easily say, "Coach, like, this is a weakness of mine."
Right.
Like, it happened one time in a moment of like, oh shitness. Like, I don't know if I'd classify that as a direct weakness
No,
you
I
have.
wouldn't say either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talking about camera angles real quick. We've done some pretty funny ones just to watch our own lifts. Because, okay, I should preface this. I don't send you videos. I did one time on the way up to a meet as a joke. That was fun. But I don't...
But you and me also don't have your typical athlete-coach relationship either.
We train together. He watches everything I do. I watch everything he does.
Yeah, don't I'm like, Carl, don't send me the video when I was the guy in the video holding the board or lifting the bench off.
Yeah,
like, I was right there, dude. And I usually give you feedback in real time.
Yeah, but there was, I remember a couple times I had some weird positional things in my shirted days where I had, like, one of my elbows was tucking in too far and the other one wasn't. And so I had the camera like 5 feet up facing down over top of me. So, like, if you're handing off, you're seeing this way, and the camera can also look that way, so I can see what you're talking about. So, little things like that, like, it's, I mean, every angle counts, but it's only the ones that your coach needs that you should really be focusing on if you're going to be sending videos in.
And it's the ones that can show off where technique actually breaks down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I can't see anything from the video, how am I supposed to help you?
Exactly.
Or lack thereof video. Like, dude, if you text me, hey, my lifts went really well this week, these are the numbers that I hit, and I don't get any accountability for that with any videos, like, shit happens. Sometimes the gym's too busy, like, a video. But, like, dude, if it's like that all the time every week, like, how am I supposed to help you? I
don't expect good feedback if you can't provide that.
Right. If you can't provide me with what I'm supposed to give feedback on, like, how are you supposed to get better?
Yeah.
I can only help you with the things I can see. And filming your setup, like, especially for those first couple weeks, I think is super important.
Oh yeah, this is something. Did I bring this up to you over text?
I think so. You might have.
Yeah. Setup is super important, and like,
especially on bench, dude. Especially on bench.
Right. But overall, if you're not filming your setups and relaying that over to your coach, like, there's not a lot of direction that they can give you for it, and that in itself, that's the setup to the lift. So everything you're doing there is going to lead up to how you perform during.
It is, but with that too, take that with a grain of salt. Like, please be mindful for your coach. Like, if it's one lift, I don't need to see 3 minutes.
Yeah, trim your video.
Yeah, like, trim your video. Like, send us the setup of you, like, getting up under the bar, like that kind of setup. Like, I don't need to see you wrapping your wrists, walking up to the bench, you know.
Yeah, no,
getting a drink of water, and the whole video is like 3 minutes long for the setup, and the lift gets completed in 30 seconds of that video.
Dances to set up.
Yeah, like, we don't need to. We don't need to see all that. But communication ultimately boils down to that. Like, you should be communicating with your coach and what they need to see. But again, that's on both parties. Like, you need to have that dynamic. You need to form that relationship with your coach. So make sure you clarify that with your coach, usually through the intake form. When you first get together and you choose your coach and they're walking you through what's expected of you, like, make sure you both sides of the party agree to that.
Yeah, it's very important.
It is. And it makes you coachable. Like, how am I supposed to, hold you accountable and you hold yourself accountable if I'm not getting the things as a coach I need from you? If you as an athlete aren't sending me the things to, quote unquote, check in with me, how am I supposed to help you benefit from what you're paying for? Right?
Yeah.
And on that topic, like, I'll never understand when people pay for a service and then don't try to get stuff out of the service.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's so weird to me, dude. Like, why would you pay me for coaching a program and then not follow the program?
Yeah, or like straight up ghost you for like a couple weeks. And
Or
come back
take
like,
your
"Oh,
advice.
hey."
Hey, can you? I really need your help. Like, can you help me call like my last warm ups when working up to this attempt? And then when we get there in training, you're like, not doing those numbers. I'm like, why? If you didn't want my answer, why'd you ask the question?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not gonna follow the advice, like, just go shoot the shit yourself and save yourself some money. If you're not gonna, like, are you one of those people that's just paying? I pay my coach to be my friend. Carl, is that what you do?
Yeah, basically.
Are you my friend at a discounted rate?
By the way, I'm still doing the meet, so.
But yeah, don't be that person, man. Don't pay for companionship over coaching, right? Don't pay for that, right? I understand people like to have a coach, and having a coach in itself provides some athletes, if you're that kind of person, with accountability because somebody's waiting for you to send them some results. They're waiting for you to update them, right? And that in itself serves as some sort of accountability for people who need that, which I totally don't dox, and I understand that. But make sure that's not just what you're paying for. Don't pay for a coach to say, I have a coach.
Yeah, so-and-so is my coach.
Yeah, don't pay for a name. Pay for the service you're getting. And speaking of that, some coaches with big names charge outrageous fees for what they're doing. I mean, I've got programs from well-known coaches. Like, you could have easily typed that in a notes tab on your iPhone and sent me that while you were taking a shit.
I guarantee some people out there are just throwing it in some like AI. Hey, I need a 5-day split for this powerlifting.
Right, and then sending it to that.
Yeah.
So like, as an athlete, like, do your research on your coach.
Yeah, know what you're getting into and who you're actually going to give your money to.
How many meets have they done? Where have they done meets? What feds do they go with? Does that align with your values? Do what they talk about and what they project themselves as, does that align with your values as a person and as a lifter, right? Are you guys going to, based on that, probably mesh well?
I think a really good thing to do would be if you're at a local meet and you're already doing it, you're already doing the thing, you're at a powerlifting meet, and there's somebody else who gets coached by that person, go speak to them. Get some in-person reviews like, hey.
It's like the reverse of coach poaching.
Yeah.
Right? So like, you're not a coach poaching another coach's lifters. You're a lifter talking to other lifters to try to get in with their coach.
Hey, does so-and-so provide good coaching? Like, would you say, in your opinion, as the athlete, is it worth it to get coached by this person?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a huge, like, what's the word? Benefit. It's a huge benefit to you if you like dig in pretty deep on
and you talk to people with firsthand experience.
Right.
And I mean, if you're lucky to be at a meet where you're interested in a coach that's at that meet, like, watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're like, can you see yourself with that person? You're like, that could be me, bro.
I think a good part of that would be you can go talk to the coach, but I would probably say wait till after.
Yeah. I mean, be respectful.
Doing their shit.
Yeah, be respectful. Go up to them after the end when the awards. Hey, man, I saw you handling your athlete. I've been watching you for a little while on Instagram, what have you. Like, I've been thinking about getting coached by you, and I really like what I saw today. Could we probably exchange some information and talk about that?
That's a great way to do it.
So it sounded professional, right?
It sounded really professional.
Yeah.
Have you gone up to coaches and...
I've not, but maybe I said that out loud because that's how I wished I was approached.
Oh, okay.
Because that's not usually how it goes. That's not usually how it goes. Yeah.
What are some bad ways? I know you probably got an example of this.
Like watching you handle like elite level athletes for most of the day and then being like, do you do like coaching or something? And then those are generally the kind of people who are like, yeah, I've been lifting for a while. And then when they do the intake form and you like talk to them for a little bit, you're like, what have I gotten myself into? They know absolutely nothing about nothing, which is fine. Like, I'm not knocking on taking beginner athletes. Beginner athletes, as a coach, a lot of coaches prefer beginner athletes or beginner to intermediate because it's really easy to add hundreds of pounds to their total within a short amount of time.
It looks good on the coach.
Yeah, they grow quicker. They have less bullshit. They have less baggage. And when I baggage, I mean ego and injuries.
habits,
Yeah,
too.
bad habits for you to break.
If you're newer, you can be molded easier.
Yeah,
You
very
can be
good.
Shaped.
I've been turned down by recent coaches. Probably, I got turned down one like a year and a half ago, right?
I don't know.
Who didn't want me because of my total and didn't want me because of my injury history.
Which respect on the coach for knowing, like, hey, that's not something I want to take on.
Or that's out of their wheelhouse.
That's what that's what I was
right?
gonna be like.
And
It's
as a
much.
coach, there's no reason you shouldn't have a couple other coaches' name in your back pocket to refer out to.
Yeah.
I think Danielle said that last night.
Did she? Was that
Yeah,
before I
she's
got
like,
here?
she refers, like, if somebody's looking for a male coach, like, she always refers out with me and John Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to John Flagg, who is one of our sponsors with his book Foundational Strength. I mean,
good plug.
who wouldn't want a coach who writes his own books? I mean, I know other coaches that are writers.
I don't. No, I've never heard of
Fuck
it.
you, dude. Really? Really, dude? You couldn't plug your own coach on air?
I'm pretty sure I've been rocking by myself for like the past 3 years.
Wow. Biggest wow.
Writing
right
my
now.
own
Biggest wow.
programs.
Well, the only reason I took you on is because you're a noob and I could add that amount to your total, Carl.
Yeah, I put such and such pounds on this guy's
I
total.
bet you did. I bet you did. Shout out to the other sponsors too. Zone Smelling Salts, providing you all the high quality graphics that your boy does.
As a writer.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. To give your sniffies the whiffies and watch your PRs go wow. That should be a new slogan.
Is
That was
that
pretty.
off the dome?
That was off the dome.
Dude, nice.
The whiffies, the sniffies that give you whiffies and watch your PRs go wow.
Ooh, okay, hold
That's
on.
pretty solid.
Do you want to
dude.
use the word whiffies though?
Why? What's wrong with whiffies?
I feel like whiff is like a
Like a miss?
You whiffed it, yeah.
I don't know.
It needs some,
Dude, I do what I can. It's off the top.
just ballpark it, you know.
Right,
somewhere
right.
around
And
there.
then, of course, our local DMV sports nutrition supplement company, Sup Dog, putting all the bark and bite into all your lifts. Grr. That was pretty solid, too. I do what I can. I do what I can. Oh, fuck, is the rocket going off?
Yeah, it's taking off right now.
Dude, we haven't had one of those on the podcast in a minute, I feel like.
No, it's
Oh, you know what it is? It's because we haven't had the heat or air on it in months.
Yeah.
So we haven't been able to take off
It's
in
getting
the
colder now, so we had to kick that heat
in
on
the
the
fucking
gym.
Thunderdome. But anyway, back to coaching. I really like this topic, and I think my boy MJ Greeno was just talking about this. Greeno, yeah, another really good coach. So you know what? Fuck this. Before we move on, let's shout out some good coaches we know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to shout out John Flagg, of course. Eric Wilberg, that's my boy too. MJ Greeno, and actually some of my athletes are now with Greeno. I think Zach and Allison went with Greeno after they moved. Shout out to him. So, I mean, those are three off the top of my head I would recommend out of my back pocket.
Nice.
So, 100%.
All doing great work and have some.
Yeah,
amazing
all
athletes
doing
behind them.
fantastic work. And those are, I think Greeno does coach a handful of equip lifters, I want to say, too.
Yeah, because he's got experience.
Does John? Yeah, I know he does, but does John also coach equip lifters? I think he's like me. Like, we have some equip lifters on our roster, but we mainly coach raw lifters.
Yeah.
And that's not like by preference or anything. It's just kind of how the dice was rolled.
Right.
Like, I'm always anxious to get more people into equipment to teach you the Lord and ways of our Savior Super Katana. I mean, we're always down to preach the good word of polyfabric.
Yeah. That's always the first thing I'm talking to people like, you ever thought about doing equipment? We got like 4 shirts we can throw you in right now.
Me be whispering in the back of me, it's like, their squat stance is slightly wide. Do you think that would look good in a pair of briefs?
I think I got a pair of those.
I think we got one.
I gotta go talk to that
We
guy.
got some hand-me-downs. Hey kid, come here. Yeah, so but are you bored? This is a good question to start with. Are you bored? Like, so think about your accessories. Are you asking for rotational changes in accessory and movements because you're bored, or you really truly aren't building anything with them?
Okay.
Because, we can use you and me for an example. Like, we do change some variations in our accessory work, but for the majority of it, you and me have really pushed some of these movements like hard.
Yeah, I think
and gained a lot of ground on them.
I mean, not to put all our stuff out, our secret formulas out there, But
I mean, you don't plug me as a coach anyway, so you might as well drop your knowledge,
hey, man,
Carl.
how about you go look at the Instagram? It's always on there. All right. So, I think we've kept pretty much the same rotation of accessories. And I say rotation because sometimes we switch up how it falls like day to day.
Like this new one, we have splits.
Yeah.
And we've done like a full body split A, full body split B.
Yeah.
We've run your normal days like a chest and tries and upper with a back and bi and then another leg.
Right.
And then now we kind of have a mix where we have some of them are full days of one after the compound, and the other ones are split days like we just did chest and back.
Exactly.
So we have tried a multitude of variations of how the splits are layered and put together, but
that's been over a year now. It's been the same stuff.
Yeah, but it's the same stuff.
Right. It's the meat and potatoes all the same.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we change the order. I change the order to fuck with you.
It does.
Yeah, I fuck with you. Carl's like, dude, I'm not used to doing these this early. I'm tired as fuck right now.
And I think a lot of that is like, you see something that like, hey, he's lacking in this. Let's put that at the very end when he's already fatigued, so he really has to push these.
Yeah. Or put him in the front where we're like, hey, you got more energy. Let's push those heavier now.
Let's hit the gas pedal on these.
Yeah, let's step on the gas right now.
It all depends on how you're feeling. And as an athlete, you should know, like, hey, these are something I'm lacking in. Maybe we should push these harder without even, like, that should just be something you auto-regulate yourself. Like, hey, I'm lacking in this. I'm going to push these a little bit harder myself.
I always encourage my athletes to keep an accessory log, too.
Yeah.
Like, so week to week, you'd be like, hey, I've done this for 3 weeks. So at this weight, I think it's safe to go up 5 pounds on the dumbbells on here.
Yeah.
Like, can I also hit that for, an appropriate set of 10 to 12, what have you? Like, I always encourage my athletes to do that. That way they can kind of regulate that on their own. I'm also a very big believer, especially nowadays, given injury history, where I obviously push my compound still super heavy, but me and Carl work mostly volume and accessories. We do some big supersets. We do mega sets.
Pretty high volume that I think a lot of people would shy away from.
Well, because we're all about that stacking them joints, bro.
That's
we're
right.
about working on that tendon strength, man.
Tendon health.
Yeah. I mean, I'm snap, crackle, and popping like Rice Krispies over here, but I'm still trying to make sure it's going to hold up.
Yeah.
So, but think about those, like, when you talk to your coach, like, don't get frustrated if, like, you do 2 blocks of programming. So let's just ballpark them 4 to 4. So you have 8 weeks of total block, 2 together, and the accessories aren't different, right? Like, are you getting stronger on those accessories? If yes, are they carrying over to your compounds? If yes, keep pushing those. Like, don't change or break what's not broken, man. If it's working for you, that's what you should stay with, right? And be honest with your coach about that too. Like, don't change accessories just because you're bored. If you're trying to change stuff because you're bored, you have just started out and picked the wrong sport to begin with. Because this game is about being monotonous. It is about,
gets easier.
Yeah, it's about doing the same shit and making it harder and doing it over and over and over again.
I think we should make a point on it real quick that what you just said, make it harder, or it always gets harder. Mm-hmm. So effort you put into your accessory work should resemble, your max effort stuff. Like, you're always pushing these, you're always putting more into these. Like, you should train them hard.
And effort, and I think another good point we should make, Carl, especially for if you and me are using ourselves as an example, effort doesn't always equate to, we'll just make it heavier, right?
Yeah.
We add resistance at the bottom. We add resistance at the top. We add mega sets so you fatigue harder. Like, there's tons of different ways we do different grips of the same exercise. Like, there's tons of different ways to make your accessories harder and keeping them remotely the same than just always trying to go up another 10 pounds on the dumbbells or on the cable.
I would say a lot of our training resembles bodybuilding training in that.
Yeah, we train hard as far as like bodybuilding style training. And I think I think this is true for you too. When I started working out, like, that was my shit. Like, I didn't touch barbell stuff for a very long time when I started lifting
I feel like
in my earlier
everyone's got
age.
that sort of pathway.
I don't know though. Well, this generation, no. I feel like everyone
Okay.
walks in, they're like,
Yeah. Powerlifting is what I'm gonna touch a barbell. I'm gonna do all this
yeah.
stuff.
You
but-
walk in there, and you're straight natty daddy, and you're already
right,
tossing
right.
some wagon wheels on the barbell and trying to bench. You know what I mean? I think that's very common, and I mean most of the reason when I get new clients is because they started like that and they're weak in everything because they haven't spent a lot of time accessorizing.
Yeah. I would say that's probably something that's in the past now. So like, you know, I started the same way. I was very much into the bodybuilding side of it before I even touched a barbell and was like, I want to do this powerlifting thing, and I only like doing benches anyway, so I'm just gonna stick to that, you know. But I would say that like the accessories themselves. Think about bodybuilders. You know, most of them they focus on getting bigger muscle. You know, getting the muscles bigger. With muscle size comes energy that can translate into your compound lifts. You know, it's the side effect from getting bigger is getting stronger. A lot of these, you know, IFBB pro bodybuilders, you'll see them toss around 405 on a bench like it's nothing, but they're not training to get that strong. That's just where they land because of how much they do.
You get bigger, you move bigger weight.
Right.
Mass moves mass, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if
that's the line.
yeah, mass moves. That's like everyone's go-to. But I mean, when you're holding yourself accountable, like besides for your videos, like if you have a coach that's asking you to like fill out your spreadsheets because they update them week to week, like don't ask and my poor wife, she knows I'm gonna be talking about her on this, because she's a spreadsheet filler. She is spreadsheet queen. She's one of those ones that has the mug that says a freak in the sheets. And we're talking about the spreadsheets.
XL.
But like, if you have a coach that's expecting you to fill in your spreadsheet for your accessories so they can dictate those and see where they go up and they rotate week to week, like I hate when I feel sorry for my wife because I hate when I see clients like message her and text her and they're like, I need a new program, when like she would already know that if you just filled out your fucking sheet.
Yeah.
Like and once your sheet's filled out and she analyzes all the data, she makes a new sheet based off that data. Mm-hmm. So like if you just fucking filled in your shit, like you'd have a new program.
That's you as the athlete providing the information.
Yeah, that's you being you accountable for what you and your coach agreed on. So don't expect a new program and don't expect a new spreadsheet if you're not done with the old one because you fucked up and you didn't take your rest day. You did all your days back to back.
Yeah.
Like if your week restarts on Saturday, but you were a dumbass and you pushed everything together and finished by Thursday, like that doesn't mean Friday you get a new fucking sheet. You get one on the normal day. Mm-hmm. And like I program blocks and between 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 week blocks is usually how I go. Experimental more ones with a third, which I have liked when we've done them.
Yeah, me too.
Those were the ones that like pushed real fucking hard, and then we deload not after
like
4 weeks,
a
but
mini
every
deload.
fourth week we deloaded because we pushed hard, and those were fun.
I had a great time. Made a lot of good progress.
Yeah, they were hard though. I mean, they were fucking hard. But I mean, like, for example, like if you have something come up, and you like, hey man, like I had some shit come up at work. Like everyone's human. Like coaches understand that, but you being honest as an athlete, like don't expect your coach to fucking drop everything because some shit happened to you. Like they have a life, they have other clients, they're doing other stuff. Because you skipped a week of programming doesn't mean you get a fresh block. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like be reasonable. Like if you didn't put in the work, why would the coach put in extra work to make up for the shit that you missed and you messed up?
Yeah, you dropped the ball on that one. It's not up to somebody else to pick it back up for you and hand it to you.
Yeah, that's part of you being accountable on your side with your coach. Because, I mean, there's a lot of athletes that do that. Or like, hey, we're in meet prep, and then 2 weeks into meet prep, you're like, I don't really want to do this meet. Let's push it back. Okay, so I had programmed 5 weeks of a peak for you. You're in 3 weeks out, and now all of a sudden, in 2 days, you want a brand new full block of not peak because you decided to drop out of the meet last minute.
So what do you do in that point?
Oh, I told them they're going to have to pump the fucking brakes because that was not my decision.
Yeah.
After you hyped up and, hey, coach, I really want to do this meet, and we had that whole talk for like ever.
Right.
Organized numbers, and now you've bailed, and now it's twice the work on me because you were gun shy.
Right, and you got to find something.
Right. So, like, you have to be reasonable. Like, don't expect your program on time, willy-nilly, snap one of these out if you bailed on your meet.
Realistically, if you do that to your coach, they're just going to throw you on a deload. So
Actually, you do that too many times to your coach. We're gonna fire you.
You're not
We're
going to have a
fire
coach
you.
anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna fire you. Or when you're like, I'm gonna do a meet, I'm gonna be like, I don't believe you. I don't think you are. And then on the flip side of that, Carl,
What?
there is such thing as competing too often.
True.
I heard this dude wants to compete 4 times a year.
I mean,
I also heard that I might have done it with him.
yeah. So there's
Possibly.
a little bit of tension there.
But that's crazy because my coach said I can do whatever I want.
Like 2 meets ago.
Your coach didn't. Your coach didn't. But let's talk about those things because would you not classify that as a bad habit?
Yeah, it's a really bad
It's a bad habit.
Spacing out how often you compete is super important to the sport and to your health as well.
Yeah, health and well-being.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in the sport for longevity, you should space your meets out.
Right. I think a lot of people, well, as you get longer, more years on you, more mileage, more dings here and there.
Easy now.
A lot of the if you can make it to submasters, you're doing well. And
All right, I deserve that.
usually it's like it ends up being like a 1 per year thing. Train for something until training's like going well, and you're like, I feel strong. We're hitting good numbers. Let me go find a meet, see what's around me, and then just go do that.
As an athlete and one with a lengthy injury history, I prefer the sneak attack method now,
Yeah.
where I just feel strong and then I pick a meet that I'm 4 weeks away from.
You don't have to get ready if you're always ready.
Yeah. And to me, technically, if you do it that way, it's less time to get fucked up.
It's true. It has payoff that way.
I mean, I squat, what, 3 or 4 times before we did this meet in like 5 weeks?
Yeah, and 2 of those weren't even in your full kit. You just
I wore a full kit one time.
Yeah, 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah, I wore a full kit one time, and then I was like, this'll do.
And then you get to the meet and you get your squat and you're like, I should have done more. Well, if you're in your squat suit more, probably could have picked better numbers. Maybe.
Hey.
Maybe.
Or I was being responsible. I was being responsible. So we didn't know how smooth that would go either.
You're right.
Considering I was like, hey, Carl, I don't know if my groin's going to stay on me. Rub the hot earth dirt
In
on
the
me.
hotel room the day before. Oh, I don't know. Groin feels like it's pulling this way more, and I can't feel it this way.
When you feel it and it's got a lump and a bump, like it's kind of...
You know what that came from? That came from pushing accessories.
It did.
So let's talk about that for a minute. When's a good time to push them? When's a good time to not?
Not Coach Carl. Coach Carl says don't push your accessories before a meet. Picking higher numbers on accessories before...
On one of your last training days.
Not a smart move.
Yeah, that's when you don't move your accessories.
Okay,
Keep everything the same from there.
I admit that was a very poor decision on my part. And you even said it in the moment, and I said, it's only 10 pounds.
Yep.
Well, it was 10.
And
I wish I had said, I wish I had done 10 pounds more, but instead I said, shit, I wish I went 10 pounds less. See, look, we made our full circle. We're back to that same.
That's not even a knock on you. That's just like...
That was dumb. That was dumb.
I mean, it was in a different scenario. If we weren't going to meet, yes, that's fine. But it was just the timing of it.
Yeah, it was, and of course, knowing me, like I always have like random freak accidents like that happen. So it's never doing something cool. It's always just like me warming up, and then I get fucked up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about those bad habits, right? And this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. And actually, this will probably be the one I break away for our little clippity clip.
Mm-hmm.
Bad habits, like what qualifies as a bad lifting habit versus a habit you do that's actually performing or making your movement better, right? Basically like maximizing your energy, maximizing your stability, your setup is doing something performative and positive for your lift versus you doing it just because it's something you've always done, right? So, for example, and I think I've got on this about you, or I don't know if you really do it anymore. You don't do it anymore.
What is it?
Feet on the bench. Feet on the bench? You don't do that anymore, do you?
No, I still do it.
Do you?
Yeah.
All the time?
I have to dig my shoulders in. Yeah.
See, well, that tells you how bad a coach I am because I don't even fucking pay attention anymore. Actually, it's most of the time because I'm handing it off to you. I'm more worried about that.
You're behind me doing that. You're worried about getting the hand off.
I'm worried about saving this from your face, not worried about what your fucking twinkle toes are doing.
But okay, so here's the kicker. If you have a habit, do you have a good reason behind you doing it?
Right. So that's what I mean. Like, is that habit positively reinforcing the movement pattern or setup? Like something as simple as like it makes you tighter, you move less, you feel like you touch things after you set them up less. You know what I mean? Like, is it providing a positive benefit there, or are you just doing it because you think you are?
I saw such and such do this.
Yeah, or are you just copying your favorite lifter?
Like, I mean, when I put my feet up on the bench and I can dig my shoulders back in, that lets me feel like I'm more set up to get in position.
Okay, and I would say that's a valid reason.
Right.
Now, one of the things I ask a lot of lifters too, and I'm sure I've asked you this as well, when I see people put their feet up on the bench, I see them settle up into their traps and their shoulders and start to build that arch and get really tight.
Yeah.
But then I watch them drop their hips and flatten back out.
Yeah.
You've undone what you set your feet up on your bench to do. So like, then as a coach, I would argue that's doing nothing for you. It's just a bad habit since you're going to drop them out anyway.
Right. So as from the coach's point of view, you can either tell them stop doing that because it doesn't do anything to begin with, or do it right because you're doing this to change that.
Yeah, you're essentially touching and undoing something you were initially trying to set up and get tight to begin with.
Right. If you think that's helping you, do it the correct way.
Yeah, once you've touched it twice and undone what you've done, it's no longer a healthy habit that's promoting a more positive lift.
Yeah.
It's something that's you're doing out of habit, right? It's not providing you any additional benefit. So there's a lot of things like that. Like, especially one of the ones I probably see most for athletes now is double slack pulls, because they're hyping the lift from the floor.
Yeah.
On a deadlift, right?
And sometimes that gets people hard because if they pull it enough.
Yeah, it's dangerous at a meet because if those plates break the floor, it can count as a bona fide attempt, and that's your attempt, dude. If it breaks and then that bar sags, like, because you Yankee Doodle too hard, like, bro, it's over. That's red lights. So
that's a big one. I see a lot of people, doubling their slack where they'll get their wedge in and they'll get a slack out of the bar. You see it bend up, and then as soon as they want to pull themselves back into position, like they do that double hip movement.
Yeah.
It'll bend back out, and then they pull it back in.
Yeah, because essentially it's changing your arm distance and height.
Right. Exactly.
Once their hip wedge comes back in, they let their shoulders drop, and essentially it has changed that slack distance between the top and where that tension was being applied.
Yeah.
So it drops back out like a rubber band.
Another example of, hey, you're doing something, but you're not doing it right. Here's how you do it right, and as the coach, you can say either stop doing that, or if you feel like strong enough to do that and like you need to do that for your position to feel better getting into it, don't drop your shoulders, don't move your arms, do it correctly.
Yeah. Or something I try for that with athletes is reversing the order, right? Are you keeping your arms taut and long and then keeping them there without the double slack when you drop the wedge in, or do you drop the wedge in first, tighten everything there, and then raise?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it depends on what works. And again, that's something that can be shown how to be done right, but there's multiple different ways to do it right? But like, you still have to go with one to be right.
And if you choose one, don't change it, I worked on this forever, now I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to go back to what you were saying like 2 months ago.
Yeah, and I think one of those bad habits is once we get into that 89 plus percentile range, your height takes over, and then bad habits that you haven't perfected or weaseled out of your lifter creep back in because they haven't spent enough time on lower percentage lifts or lower RPE lifts to make that a positive habit, right? To break that and kind of mimic that and make that muscle memory when they set up all the time.
Yeah. I would say this might be a hot take, and I know I've said it
hot takes
before. A bad habit is getting too excited for a lift.
Yeah.
That's a really bad habit.
Yeah. And not only that, staying that hype all meet.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your CNS, and like you can only take that for so long.
Right. I mean, you're wasting so much energy and time getting yourself excited for your second attempt squat. Yeah, it's an important one, but
If you're staying that geared up all day long, like by the time you get to deadlifts, like you will be emotionally smoked.
right. And what you were saying before, a lot of less mature or inexperienced lifters will throw themselves back into bad habits from getting too up and too excited to go do a lift.
And I can speak from experience. I used to be that hype lifter.
Right.
Dude, when I was younger, I was a fucking animal, dude.
Bull in a
Hitting
china shop.
ammonia, like fucking running in the line, like I was hype.
Yeah.
All the time. Screaming and fucking freaking out and throwing ammonia bottles. Like that was me all the fucking time to a T.
As the athlete, do you go back on those videos and see yourself in that time where you're getting up, getting excited, and you're like, wow, I had a lot of breakdown right before I get there, and like I wasted a ton of energy.
Yeah, for sure. But then it's also too, it's like, okay, if I felt like I needed that push to do my best, how can I recreate that habit in a more positive manner that will be beneficial to the lift?
Right.
Right. So now I really think about like very calm. Like I am a much calmer lifter now.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can be aggressive and be calm at the same time.
Right.
Like, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you can focus and be that hype, but not exude it in a jittery and jumpy way that's going to, move the bar, make a mispick, make a miswedge, something that's going to...
Can we talk about some bar picks and bad habits with that?
Oh, why? You want to talk shit on Andrew from last night?
Well, I mean, it was just very recent. We had a conversation with one of our athletes who trains here about, bad habits in the pick and multiple different things that he was doing, whether it was getting the bar out of the racks, out of the hooks too aggressively, so it's not in his control, or not having your own, I would call it like a ritual of what you do up at the rack, where you set your feet, you get the bar back in the hooks where you need it, and then you get set for the pick.
Yeah.
So
and I think one of my favorite lines from that last night when you and me were talking to it and trying to reinforce that is like, it's like taking the slack out of a deadlift bar.
Yeah.
But for the squat with your upper body, right? You're taking up space by applying that pressure through your quads and with your hips coming in to pick and shift the bar, not driving as hard as you can through the floor and popping it up and then getting that
wiggle,
that motion, especially when you have, if we relate it to the mono, like having that bar pressed against those mono arms, because then when those come back, as you saw last night, you're coming forward, dude. And you might be able to do that on your opener. You're probably not going to be able to do that at 99, 100% when you're taking a third.
Yeah, there was a couple times when we were like, dude,
you're going to fall. I'm glad we're here right now.
I think there was one point where he had one of his warm-ups, and I was like, dude, if you do that on your second and third, you're not going to get them, just because.
You're going to come forward, period. Like, you're going to be starting in a disadvantaged position every time.
And I think what a funny moment I took from all that throughout the night was after we were getting the bar rolled back into the hooks, and then I was like, hey, I'm going to do this for you so you don't have to figure it out yourself up here. And then I had a moment of pause. I said, hold on. No, I'm going to put it back here, and you're going to do it so you remember come meet day, hey, this is what I have to do up on the platform, because you're not going to be in, they're going to be doing their thing, spotters and loaders. They're not going to think to put the bar back in the hooks just because that's where you want it.
Yeah. They got a lot of shit going on, too. It's easy, something like that, to miss, but if it's part of your ritual and your positive good habit, you need to make it so.
If this is where you get better picks and you're not going to get yourself shoved forward, you need to know, hey, I need the bar here. I'm going to put it here when I get up there.
100%. And I think one of the biggest things we really wanted to talk about, I'm sure there's a few things we're going to add, but one of my last notes we had on this kind of plot for our episode today is the difference between coach hopping and outgrowing your coach.
Yeah.
And I think outgrowing your coach has such a negative connotation to it, where people think like, oh, you've outgrown your coach, and it has this like ego or stigmatism to it where you're saying, oh, well, I'm I'm too good for this now, or I'm
Right.
better, or even worse, right? This is one of my least favorite things for lifters. I've learned all I can learn. Bullshit, dude.
yeah,
You will
there ain't no
learn.
way.
You will never not learn lifting. You should never think you've read too much, watched too much, been around different people too much. Like, you can always learn from other people. And I think when you say outgrown your coach, it's more along those lines where you're saying, you know, maybe you've moved from a beginner to an intermediate and you're looking for something else. That's okay. And that's a conversation you can have with your coach. There's a huge difference between that and a coach like, hey, I started with this coach. I think I've gone as far as I can with this coach. Now it's time for something. I'm looking for something new. Maybe your goals don't quite align anymore. That's okay. And you can have those conversations. And as we've said through this whole thing today, is communication is absolute key for both parties, right? There's a huge difference between that and coach hopping, where every single or every other block, you're like, well, this isn't working. I need to find a new coach. I'm not getting stronger. I need to go find a new coach. I don't like this program. I need to find a new coach.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a huge difference. And especially when they're young, and I see a lot of younger lifters do that. And recently, unfortunately, I've had a really experienced lifter do this to me. Would that guy last like 3 weeks? Not even?
Not even. It was like half of a block.
And I showed you the text, dude. I communicated the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, well, like, let's revamp this. Like, what do you need? I'm here to work with you. Dude, just fucking straight ghosted me. And you don't expect that out of an experienced elite level athletes, but, like, it happens.
It happens, and then you see him running your shit on Instagram still. So you're like,
Yeah,
why
you're
did
like,
you
well,
even-
that kind of looks like my programming.
Yeah.
But,
Tough.
yeah, tough pill to swallow, but I mean, shit happens. But like coach hopping, where you're just jumping from coach to coach to coach, hoping that something's going to stick. And there's hard pill to swallow with that realization is nothing is going to stick, because you don't have the endurance to tough it out through the harder spots, where at the first sign of challenge, of inconvenience, of a hard week, of even a hard day, you can't make it through as an athlete, and you can't hold yourself accountable for your own bullshit. That's when coach hopping really starts to come into play.
Right.
Where like you're pointing every single finger at everyone but you. Well, I didn't have the correct spots today, so I didn't take this attempt, so I didn't really go off my program. I just wasn't ready. I didn't have the right day. The right people, the right equipment weren't around. Or like, oh, I didn't drink all the water I was supposed to today, or I didn't eat for 7 hours because I had a long shift. All these variables that you can control, that you choose to point fingers at other people for, is ultimately your own downfall. That always revolves back to our full circle theme here today, is you only get what you put in. And if you aren't putting in that effort to control those variables that you can make better for yourself, you're going to have shit luck.
Yeah. There ain't no other way to say it, you know?
Yeah.
You either tighten up or fall through the cracks. Like,
Yeah, I like that. Tighten up or fall through the cracks, man. You either fucking pull your weight or get left behind, man. And that's true here with crews too, man. Like, me and Carl are trying to form a bit more of a bigger crew right now, and we know at the end of the day, if it boils back down to a 2-man crew, like
That's what it's gonna be.
we always depend on each other, and we're always there for each other. But like,
we did it for so long, we can go back to it if we need to.
it ain't a big deal to us. So I mean, like, that's part of also being responsible. Like, are you going to show up on time? Are you showing up on time for yourself? And I know that sounds kind of stupid, but like, if you've made a set time for you to get things done and go to the gym, and you're constantly bailing on that because you're trying to find other things, oh, I was busy, well, I had this come up. Like, these are things you can make time for and control, right? And if you're not making that effort and you're not making that time, why should you expect your coach to do the same for you?
Yeah. Yeah, or your training partners or whatever crew.
Or
you're in.
whoever else is looking at you to be responsible.
And that gets into a whole crew dynamic thing that we can talk about, you know,
I know. I had to. I felt so bad. You did such an awesome job sending me stuff this week to like talk about.
Yeah.
Where I had to divide it. I was like, hey, I had to cut this out, dude. This is like a whole nother podcast, Carl, which is great.
There's a bunch in there
because we got some ammo for the next one.
Whenever me and him think of ideas, we try to send it to each other like that very minute. Otherwise, it's gonna get forgotten, and we have to like, what did we say? Oh, we said that like a week ago.
We don't know anymore.
No.
So the bottom line is you only get what you give, both attitude and effort and all the variables you can control. And ultimately, that's going to boil down to what makes you coachable as an athlete. 100%. And no coach wants you if you're not willing to put in for yourself.
Yeah.
Because, it's usually a full-time or a side hustle for a lot of us. Like, obviously, I put my own time in as coaching. My roster is probably usually anywhere between 20 to 25 athletes. I try not to get more than that as a coach. But no coach usually, especially if you're in it for the love of it, like, I obviously could charge a lot more. But, like, nobody wants to just, like, for most of us anyway, I don't want to sit here and just take your money, dude. Like, I want you to get something out of it. So, like, I preface things like, bro, if this isn't for you, like, just give me a heads up. Don't ghost me. Just be like, hey, man, I can't put the effort in that I thought I was going to be able to do. Yeah. That's part of being responsible, too, is knowing when you're in over your head.
I feel like on a coach's point of view, I know this is all supposed to be athletes,
no,
but real quick, a coach isn't going to pick that profession because, well, I should say I hope they don't. Just because, this is going to give me some extra bucks, let me hop in and just start coaching some people. Like, usually they get some sort of fulfillment out of it. Like, I enjoy getting people to a point where they feel like they're excelling in what they want.
Yeah.
And if I have the knowledge base behind it and I can help them, that's what I'm going to do. So, I mean, if it boils down to that, then, like, there's not much room of growth if you're not willing to put that in and communicate with that to the coach, and the coach is going to say yes or no, I can do this for you, or I'm just here to take your money.
Right. And shameless plug too, we are looking to add 2 to 3 people for Team No Luck. So if you like the work you see me doing, if you like the work you see Carl doing, if you like some of the raw athletes I repost and say, hey, that looks like my style, or you listen to the podcast and you're like, those are some dudes I think I would get along with, please shoot one of us a DM and we can talk about coaching and getting you set up, because we're always looking to add somebody to the team who's going to take this serious and loves the sport as much as we do, and likes to hear, listen, read, and learn as much as we do, because ultimately that's one of the biggest parts of the sport for me and Carl. It's like, we like being in it, we like being around it, we like learning about this shit, and there's always more we're trying to add to our repertoire and our table.
Yeah. Quick, plug the meet coming up, because we're doing a lot of coaching that day.
Oh, yeah, we are doing a lot of coaching. So speaking of coaches you can watch in action.
Yeah.
And if you get my way, I'll fucking karate chop you out for one of my athletes. We're handling 5 lifters that day. Five lifters so far. I think there's one more. There's one more.
Possible.
But we're on the fence.
Yeah.
One more on the fence. Possible 6?
Possible
6. 5 that we got locked in, faux show.
We're about 3 weeks out from this.
3 weeks out from No Luck 6, dude. I can't believe this is our 6th year running the first meet that was ever at the cave, but our annual winter meet, No Luck 6, here December 13th, weigh-ins the 12th.
Yep.
I know, because I just put in my ASAP absence for school.
There you go.
Yeah. So, No Luck 6, right here at the Cave in Salisbury, Maryland. You can come if you've never seen a powerlifting meet and you want to see a good one run and see some people who give a shit about the sport and want you to have fun, your friends to have fun, and whether it's your first experience or your 20th experience, to have a damn good one. This is the place you want to be.